If you're looking for a way to power up your nutrients with a plant-based protein powder, then raw vegan plant-based protein is the perfect choice. This vegan protein is packed with essential nutrients to help you stay energized and healthy. With plant-based protein powder becoming increasingly popular amongst health-conscious individuals, it's no surprise that raw vegan plant-based proteins has become a leader in the industry. Whether you're an athlete or just looking to increase your daily protein intake, this vegan protein powder can help you reach your goals. Visit rawvegan.com. Again, rawvegan.com. Welcome to the Second Wind Box Sports Media. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside...
It's your boy, Caesar Fantastic.
And alongside...
Jimmy the Golden Boy, y'all. It's a pleasure to be here with you, legend.
Yes, indeed, man. Today, we got a couple of topics we're going to break down today. And the first topic will be the fight with Kambosos versus no other than the Matrix himself, Lomachenko. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get in. Let's dissect that fight for a second. I'm gonna start it off with you, JR.
Dissected like Loma dissected no Kambosos.
I'm sorry. As soon as he started saying the intro, I started thinking of the fighting, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's ugly." Oh God, that was rough. Yeah, but like it's bad. It's a weird thing with fighters. When you're in the fight and you in tough fights or tough sparring sessions, you like, I'm built for this, yeah. And it be some fights when you witnessing it, whether it's a back and forth or a one-sided, whooping, you kind of like, God, dog. Yeah. You either get him to stand it, but the thing you're like, God dang. like, you don't remember when Roy Jones said, when James Toney was beating on Iran Barkley, he was like, that's the only time I really felt sympathy for another fight. Like, yo, this guy stop, man. Yeah. The way he was just, like, of course, we all picked Loma.
Yeah,
right.
But we all thought it was going to be an outbox. You know, get to the decision. Outclass him. No, that was a beating.
That was a beat down.
And people are gonna downgrade it and say, "Oh, who's Kambosos?" Nah, I give it to Kambosos. Kambosos always come to fight, and he don't care about a loss. He'll that guy. He don't even care about a tune-up for real.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
And the biggest mistake Kambosos made was waiting.
Yeah,
like I forget about later on where it was to a point where Loma had him thinking like, dang, I don't know where he gonna go. Mm-hmm. From the jump, he should have been just bum rushing him, trying to get in his chest.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a guy who moves his feet like that. If anything, the only way you moving your feet is if we on the inside here.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're gonna pivot. I don't need you doing this here and then here. While we out here, I don't need to be wait. No, because once I get here, I can move my knee over.
Right.
Wink, wink. Like where you start knocking your knee on the other guy's knee. I had that jump happen to me. Oh Lord Jesus. Man, an old pro taught me that. He was like, man, you also do it. And he said, because you got quick feet. Who's gonna try to cut your legs from you? He said, all right, you pivot, you don't mind using your height, bending your knees and pivoting. Dude gonna get tired of you. I was like, oh, for real? Man, Panama did that. I tell the story of Panama pivoted. And then when I went like this, I said, and I went to my knee. Mm-hmm. This instinct is to grab was hurting. Mm-hmm. In boxing, you get hit here, you hurting. You're not gonna grab it, but it's an awkward thing. It's your knee. And I go, wow. He said, see, you going to sleep. He said, and he stopped the punch like right here. He stopped it. He said, see, you going to sleep.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. I swear I could not walk. He said, you see what I hit your knee. He said, your knee is fine. I just hit it. It's going to feel a little painful a second. I'm like, what was that? That's what you got to do with a guy like Loma. And the only guy who did it successfully was Orlando Toledo.
Salido, yeah.
You have to fight a guy like Loma like that because you can't let him get into a groove.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he should have jumped on Loma early, like you said, and then just went for the gusto. Loma known for slow starts anyway, so he had to. Not then, but he is known for slow. But yeah, Saturday was good. God, it was vintage Loma, bro. I'm like, yo, this like Loma back. I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But it was classic, bro. It was classic. It was everything that Loma always been. Like, it's good to see him back like that. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he definitely put on a spectacular performance with the movements, and I already knew the outcome was going to be what it was, because of the fight with him and with actually just his style of fighting in particular is just is a come forward. He one of them guys going, you got to damn near kill if you want to get him out of there. He gonna fight you to the death. You know, he got that pride. So, but Luma just was too much for him, man. He broke him down easily, man. Easily. It was just a one-sided fight from the beginning to the end. So
yeah, I think the question going in was, does Loma have anything left? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like the Loma got anything left, especially after the loss. You know what I mean? And how devastating that was to him mentally. Like, we know he wanted that undisputed. So it's like, can he get up for this and trying to win this belt? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna be back? Like, it's good to see that. Yeah, he still got that hunger. He still got that drive, and he's still Loma.
Most definitely, yeah. He's still in the. And there was some talks that Tank mentioned. He said he loved it.
There it is.
Hey, it was that, and it was Shakur. There was talks about him and Shakur.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that'll get made before Tank fight.
Yeah, I think
the same promotion.
Yeah,
it make more sense.
And I think that's a good fight, especially after this showing. It's the perfect fight for Bob to make for them two to get on and get it going right now.
Yeah. Do you see that as a pay-per-view fight or just keep it like it's been?
Yeah, that's definitely that's a pay-per-view joint. That's a ESPN pay-per-view joint.
That's true statement.
I
agree with that.
But I mean, you know, if Tank could make that happen, that's a good fight. It's a good one. That's a good one for Tank, man. Loma crafty dude.
Okay,
hold
on. All right.
Definitely got to call it a chess match.
Look, we all know Tank will be economical with his punches to make sure it surgically lands. He may not throw as many, he might, but everything is to place to slowly just lower your health bar.
Yeah.
But Tank will sit like this. He'll sit. Tank can pivot. I've seen him do it on the inside with a lot of guys, but that's on the inside. He's not gonna do it. So you got to think. It make me think of what he did to Gary. Remember when Loma fought Sweet G?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what Max Kellerman said. He said, Gary Russell Jr. is a special talent. And Loma made him look ordinary. And Sweet G moved his feet more than Tank. So it's like, God, if we know that speed for speed, we all know Tank faster than him. Like, Tank just ain't no power puncher. Yeah, but the look of that one counter or that two punches, and then Loma steps to the side, steps around this kid, and then he starts pulling his elbow, grabbing his glove, moving his hitting him in the collarbone, locking his knee, give him a double foot feint. He put his foot on the inside, then he steps to the outside, and it's a lot of stuff that he does with his feet. He's the only fighter I've ever seen that really that besides now before people start getting mad, I hated when Loma was on his way up because people was like, "Oh, we had never seen these moves before." Bullshit. Sorry, bullshit. Boxing is the same. Boxing is the same old chicken, different seasoning. Ain't too much new. Ain't too much new in this game. Let's keep this all the way. So there was a guy named Orlando Canizales, former world champ. Go look at them tapes. He did exactly what he boxed just like Loma. So he was from Mexico. He boxed just like Loma. And Ray Leonard, he would do a lot of pivots. Like when he fought in Syracuse, New York. Oh my gosh, I know this fight, and I know this guy's name. Why am I forgetting right now? Sorry to disrespect that legend that he fought, but basically, that pivot where he steps and turn instead of pulling this way, he throws his jab and steps this way. Ray was doing that. Ray did this to do boom, pulls out, went southpaw, turned back. Like that stuff been going on forever. Sean Bay Mitchell did it to a dude on Showtime. He was southpaw, switch, turned his shoulder, and went right-handed for a second shot, left uppercut, dropped the dude.
I remember.
Yeah, and remember the dude got up like this. He was on his knees, like he was on his butt. He put his hands on his knees, and he looked at his corners took his mouthpiece out. This is like the first 2 rounds, and we like he could have got it because it was a flash knockdown. We like, oh, he's gonna get up. He just waiting until 6. Dante, nah, he ain't getting up. He really ain't get up. Like that move just took his confidence away. Like, man,
I can't do nothing with that.
Yeah, so this stuff has been around for the longest, so I just hate when people make that. But with Loma, he's used to moving his feet like that no matter how old he gets. It might slow up a little bit, but he's used to doing it all the time. So and when you're dealing with a guy like Tank, you always got to worry about when the bomb going to detonate. Like, all right, he might just
out of nowhere,
Loma might get some stuff on him, but when that shot lands, and all of a sudden you see Loma do this, it's like, oh Lord, Lord. And, Tank know how to finish. Tank know how to finish a guy. But we also want to, but what if Tank take a lot of shots and he take a lot of stabs to the body to get to that brick? Because he's staying like this and trying to shoot 1 and trying to shoot 2 and it ain't getting there.
That's what I was about to say. How many mistakes, Tank gonna wait for you to make a mistake. How many mistakes is Loma gonna make?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's like Loma.
What about Shakur for y'all? What about Shakur for y'all?
Shakur
if he fought Shakur and Loma.
Which one?
I think that's a good. I think that's a goodie, bro. Like I really think
I don't
that's
think it sells though.
Yeah, I don't know because it's the model of just people being so used to being on there's just ESPN top ranked people being on ESPN. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I think that's part of the thing. Like I say it's good and bad with it, right?
Yeah.
You get used to not paying. So then when it comes to, oh man, we got to pay. Oh Lord, you know what I mean? But then it's also you going to be able to accumulate fans because more people are going to see you on your way up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a give and take. Yeah, Loma probably would never be as big a pay-per-view star as some of the other guys, but he got fans. You know what I mean? He got a stable base of fans like that. A lot of these new dudes ain't getting now.
I think it'll be a great fight, a great sale because people will believe in their mind that Loma has a chance of defeating him. Because they see they especially like Floyd, like what they doing. I noticed what Floyd and Davis is doing right now is they're trying to create the hate factor involved, right? So what they'll do is they'll make Luma the good guy and they'll make Tank the bad guy,
Oh yeah.
which everybody will
Yeah.
flood
Oh,
through there
Loma and
just
Tank
to see.
selling
Hmm.
ridiculous. Loma and
They gonna
Tank selling
they selling
retarded.
numbers
That's
because
selling over 1,000,000.
yeah,
Shakur and
because
Tank might sell 200, 250.
and a lot of people will come see that as well. If they
Yes,
market
sir.
that right, it's gonna require a much bigger push than it would with Luma and
Um.
what's the name? It will require a bigger marketing push
But
for
I think
Shakur.
ESPN does well with a 200 million pay-per-view joint because if you notice on their pay-per-views, they still got commercials. They still selling ad space.
I see
Yeah.
that. I saw
Yes.
that. Yeah, I saw
So
that.
like they still making money hand over fist even if it's only 200,000 people. Like, all right,
I saw that.
we still selling ads.
I saw
Well,
the
we
Ain't
talking
zone.
about a
commercial free.
40
I
plus
saw
year
the zone.
conglomerate.
Yeah.
I saw the zone. Right. I saw the zone doing that as well too.
Yeah, they starting
Oh, yes,
to
sir.
try to
I
jump in on
saw
that
that
too.
too. Yeah. And I
I
imagine,
Um.
if
imagine
I'm not mistaken,
Amazon gonna be
Amazon
on the
was
same.
doing the same
Yeah,
too.
I imagine Amazon gonna wind up doing the same thing. That's the thing. Like Showtime probably ain't get a chance to get in on yet, before they stepped out.
But I do.
Um.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Jr.
No, sir. Go ahead. Finish, Miss Uncle G.
I just was saying. I think that the Javante versus Javante versus Shakur would do less
Mm-hmm.
numbers than Lomachenko
Yeah,
personally. The European base, the Russian, I mean not Russia, the
yeah,
Ukraine,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eastern Europe.
Because
Yeah.
Shakur don't have
market.
as many fans as Loma. Loma got a little bit more
Yeah.
equity in the game right now. As far as big fights and things like that.
Now, skill wise, both of them are equal to me in terms of skill wise of a fight.
Yeah,
Now, I think I just think that Shakur's defense is what separates him
His
from
length too.
in his length and how he knows how to distance himself from shots. Now Lomachenko, it's hard to say, man. That's a
yeah, because it's that veteran
Yeah, man.
I mean
he got
that's the
going.
main
It's going,
that's the
man.
main
Watching that fight Saturday. That's all I could think about. Ooh, him and
yeah,
Shakur. Ooh, all I could think about, bro.
yeah.
When I didn't think about Kambosos in the jump, I was like, man,
Right,
ooh, Loma and Shakur. Good
right.
gracious, that's the fight. I can't wait. Oh, I want to see that.
Um. From a sales standpoint, uh, we're gonna watch it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, for sure.
See how
For
y'all
sure.
just jumped? See, look. See how y'all just jumped on that?
See,
Because
for
you're
us,
a purist.
purist.
Oh
You're a
yeah.
purist.
Oh
You're
yeah.
a purist. I'm
Right.
a purist.
Exactly.
Remember when Nonito Donaire was making his run
Mhm.
and he fought Rigon Diao?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a boring fight. Oh my
No.
gosh.
Oh
But
no,
we
man.
were watching it like, oh my god.
But,
Oh my
Dude,
god.
oh,
but
Oh man,
yeah,
it's a chess match.
yeah.
Right? I never I've told this story in private. I've never told it in public. I'm not gonna say the promoter's name. A big time promoter told me, he said, Junior, let me explain something to you, because I was throwing them fighters. I'm throwing them fighters. Oh, I know this guy. The fight, his skill set. Every time I'm throwing him a fighter, I'm telling him his skills. Like, I'm going off his skills. First thing coming out my mouth, skills.
Mhm.
The last thing I would say is he has a good following.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's what they care about.
He's schooling me. He's now this promoter was schooling me. He was like teaching me big time stuff. How this works, how that works, or this promoter's this way. He was teaching me a lot. And he said, man, and the crazy part is this particular promoter, when I got close to another promoter that isn't from that's not even from the United States. I got close to a guy who worked for a promoter in London,
Mm.
and he said the exact same thing. He said, Junior, He said he saw a girl. I said, what? I'm being dead serious. Kid, are you nuts? This kid can fight. He said, I know. That's why I like you, Junior, because you're gonna ride for the fighters and you're gonna be honest and everything. And I said, man, this kid can box. He can good punch. He has to work on his inside game, but I think if you give him 7 fights, his inside game will get better. Oh my Lord. And he said, Steve Junior, I'm gonna teach you something real quick. You gotta understand that we don't worry about people like you and your dad.
Right.
Y'all gonna sit down and watch a fight.
Exactly.
And you're talking to a kid who still remembers Tuesday night fights.
Right.
Wednesday night fights, Friday night fights. Not Tuesday night fights, y'all, that used to be on ESPN. I'm talking about the one that used to be on USA Network. Matter of fact, let's go further than that. Remember when you were still an amateur and my dad was a pro and it used to be on local TV? Some of the fights. Star Child was on local television.
Yeah, it was like
it was channel
Network.
30. Yeah, it was like channel 30 or channel 31.
I forgot what it was called.
B-side.
Yeah.
Ballroom boxing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was yep, that's right. And it would be channel 30.
Yep.
I think what was it, the B-side?
You got to depend on where you from. You know,
Maryland had the B-side.
Maryland had the B-side. We never had the B-side.
It was like I forgot which channel, like 8.
I remember the B-side in Maryland, though. I remember.
Yeah, I do. I remember when I was in Maryland.
Right?
It's like,
right. Gave you some memories, right? And
the B-side in Maryland. I remember that.
It's like, you got to switch to the B-side. I'm like, oh, dang. Y'all got a B-side?
And, you know, for folks who didn't know. And, you know, you had a scrambler. The scrambler. Remember them giants? But the point I mean, you know, just for context, for people who remember the Tuesday night fights on USA, Arturo Gatti getting his first loss at 4-0 on Tuesday night fights USA, and Fernando Vargas wearing blue glitter with the blue glitter shoes with the tassels and saying Boxnard on there, you know, and then it came to ESPN. You had ESPN Tuesday, or it would be Wednesday night fights, and then every week you had Friday night fights.
Yeah.
I would run home. I would be outside playing with my friend, and I say, "Yo, we can get one more game in but I gotta go in the house at 9." Because they said, "Why?" Because the fight's on. Who fight? I don't know. It's just a fight on. I gotta see what I can learn. I gotta see what I can learn. That's just how I was.
Man.
I
used to bet my grandfather on fights.
The slice man.
Our very own Jersey, man, we used to be on there heavyweight. Whoop some ass on it all the time.
Beating Carl the Truth Williams.
He beat some tough boys, man.
Man, you know, and we're coming there. Who?
Mo Reese. What's his name? I just talked about Mo too.
Blocker?
Not Mo Blocker. It was Mo. God damn, big strong Mo that had like 60 fights. He lost about Mo won.
Oh, the Dingling Man dude.
He fought the Dingling Man, I think, man. Mo record was like 10 and 60 or some shit though, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Him out. Yeah. Steel. He used to fight the dudes like.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot his damn name though, man. I'm sorry for that, Mo. I just called him Mo all the time. You know what I'm saying? But Mo fought everybody, but he couldn't get knocked. But he fought on Tuesday night fights. A light for the Thunder, the heavyweight fighter.
Jesse Thunder from Hawaii.
Yep, he fought him. He used to fight them guys. And he fought I mean, you know who else used to fight on there too a lot? Daryl Coley used to fight on there.
Daryl Coley. Willie Wise. The Willie Wise war. That war he had with Willie Wise. Oh, my God. That fight, in my opinion, side note for everybody, that fight right there told me he was ready for the top guys. Because for some reason, we were all, I remember all of y'all yelling at the TV at him, or I would go to the gym and hear y'all talking about, like, man, he always wait for the last 30 seconds of the round to start working. Trying to pull that right in jump, man. Bro, he just need to let his hands go. And then he would then he'll be like, let you hit him with a good shot. Next thing you know, this Bama just running numbers. And he would, man, just Lord, too sweet. I learned a lot being in camp with him.
We had to face him on the other end with Daryl Lattimore. We helped Daryl for that. We sparred Daryl for that fight, Daryl Lattimore for Daryl Coley fight, and he was in the best he ever been. That was probably one of Daryl Lattimore's best performances in many years. He lost, but it was a close fight.
Gonna get stopped, and he didn't get stopped.
And he had Coley hurt a few times too.
That
fight. We got him ready for that one. That was probably one of Daryl Lattimore's best performances. You know, in a while, because his career was dwindling down.
Yeah.
But let's get ready to
but basically what I'm saying is that the promoter was saying, he said, we don't worry about guys like you and your dad. Y'all gonna watch a fight because the fight is on. We're trying to get the casuals, the Jake Paul fans, the Ryan Garcia followers. Those are for people who need context. That's a casual fan. A casual fan, for example, for context with people watching, is like, you got people who may not watch football, but when Super Bowl weekend comes, we're gonna watch the Super Bowl. And because we're all gonna drink, we're gonna eat, and we're gonna crack jokes, and the game's gonna be pretty entertaining because it's gonna be the two best teams, and it'll always be some wild stuff that happens during the Super Bowl, and it's like, oh, it was a fun day. That's a casual fan for context for people who are watching who may not know. So that promoter explained to me, he said, I understand that you work hard, Junior, and you're meticulous with skill sets. And I mean, I'm so meticulous with skill sets, I could tell you which guy foot faster than the other and why he only goes one way. That's how much I watch a guy, because I was taught to watch a guy from the feet up, not from his hands down. Or when a guy slightly starts to get punchy, I could tell you if a guy's starting to get slightly punchy before he even talks, because I could watch him shadow box and see when he moves his feet, if his feet aren't moving as it should or dragging a bit. And he was telling me this, and he said, we need the guy. He said, that guy right there that you just gave me, he can fight. He's probably going to be a champion, but no, we need a guy that's going to sell more. And I was like, it hurt me, like, because I'm like, no, this guy can fight, and he works hard. He stays out. He's not in the street. Like, I'm really pleading for this kid. And he was like, no, you gotta understand, Junior. And that's why I tried to tell people. I said, man, you know how many great fighters that I have watched or been around that fall through the cracks. They got 28-3 records, but they never really got on TV. And you had a better chance of getting on TV back in the day than you do now.
That's a true statement.
So with Loma and Shakur, I could see that fight never happening, because they're gonna make it. They're gonna walk up to Shakur and say, "We need you to act like a clown. Just run your mouth. Just keep running your mouth. Just keep talking as much so we can get as many casuals on here as possible." Instead of it being, y'all want to see real artists, y'all want to see beautiful footwork and see who's gonna land. You're gonna see two swordsmen, because it'll be, what them two fighting will look like. You ever watch the Olympics and the fencing Olympics? With the swords. That's them. Who gonna land the point first? And that's beautiful. Like, you have to be in such. You can't even be in shape for those two type of guys. You got to be. And I don't mean, you got some guys, you got to be in shape to bring your lunch pail, because they just going to be bringing it, throwing a lot of punches. But when you got some guys that are so fat, like, I never forget, I had the privilege of getting this compliment from a great fighter who said, man, if I could see your punches coming, I'll be all right. And even when I was with Jerry said, man, even when you tired, for your arms to be that long, because Uncle Herb, the great Olympic trainer, Robert Martin, was preaching about me to somebody. And he was like, telling my backstory about how unfair life is, because I got, the cards I was dealt or whatever. And Jared and Justin heard when I'm working with them, and I wasn't as confident because I'm coming out the hospital, or whatever. And I say, yo, mother, give me you good work. And he said, man, dog, you perfect because even when you get tired, you don't cheat your punches. And Uncle Nelly and Uncle She gonna watch. Hey, Mr. Caesar, watch Uncle She face start smiling. And Uncle Nestle said, man, that's because his father had him in the gym at little, and he didn't give him no little gloves. He had him in 18 ounces hitting the bag at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, so he never cheated his punches. So even when he's tired, he's still gonna throw his punches right.
Right.
So he said, and then you still throwing them fast. He said, so if I could see it, I'll be fine. And when you got certain guys that's that fast or sharp, you want to be in tip top shape so you can see it coming. Because when you get into a certain shape when you're a fighter, you can see punches almost in slow motion or whatever. And that's the type of shape them two got to be in for each other.
Yeah.
And people are not going to appreciate that enough to know that, oh, the action I'm looking for out of them two guys, I may not get to around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's only a 30% chance that them two get in the middle and do that.
Even get there, because it's gonna be a pure chess match. Like I like how you brought up, Rigondeaux, who was like one of the most beautiful boxers I've ever seen. And people shit on Rigondeaux so much, and that pisses me off because I'm like, this dude is like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why. Just I guess just the thrill of competition. He got in there with Loma, but everybody I knew.
I enjoyed that.
But it was still.
It's odd.
It was still Loma was too big, but for the time, like Rigondeaux couldn't hurt him, but he was catching Loma with some stuff though early.
Yeah, he was.
Loma just like he overwhelmed him.
The boxer's dream, like you said, was a boxer's dream to see some two skillful fighters like that get in the ring with each other.
Yeah, I wish it was a way to get the casuals really up on game on what it really is. You know what I'm saying? Like
this is
the beauty of the sport.
This is what I came up to the conclusion. We musicians, we musicians.
Yes, sir.
So if you look at it, it's just like a jazz musician. A jazz musician to a musician is like one of the greatest forms of music that it can be. It's the highest level a musician can get to.
Very intricate.
If I'm listening to John Coltrane playing a blues scale, and when I hear it, in my eyes, it's great art. It's like, oh my God, the way he just did he did that scale and
that transition,
and his improvisational skills are so high class. Instead of me hearing the same C major song, a song played in a C major or A minor, I'm listening to this man playing it into an F sharp. You know what I'm saying? And when he's playing these notes, he's playing all sharps, which is difficult for musicians to do most times, right? Because you have to augment your fingering and everything. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's really for the elementary players that don't know how to do the chops all with the regular keys. But that's the same way with somebody moving their head, jabbing, hooking off the jab, spinning, head moving at all times, hands up, or some keep their hands down. And when you see this art of throwing a jab and a hook and not getting hit, you're looking at a masterpiece. But to the average sights of a
novice,
of a
layman,
casual fan who's watching this, or watching a guy that's coming in taking shots, giving shots, taking shots, giving shots. That's entertainment. To our eyes, that's not entertainment. To our eyes, that's insanity.
Man.
It's
like people say they watch NASCAR for the wrecks. I'm like, You're not watching for the passes or the bump
Right,
drafting or nothing like that. Casuals are watching for the. No, I just want to see a crash. I just want to see a knock. I just want to see Rock'em Sock'em Robots in the middle of the ring. Nah, stand in the middle of the ring and get your head knocked off. Like, okay.
Exactly. And that's the same thing goes with me as a musician. If you listen to some of the songs now, they playing this. In music nowadays don't even have a change to it no more. Or
it's just bass. It's just bass.
Without a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Or bridge or change does not come with music. So now you get the same, like a Kendrick Lamar. That's all playing. Ain't no change like
one loop.
So that's just like a person throwing a jab. And a person coming there just throwing bunch of punches, and then a hook land and he knocked the guy out. And then that's what boxing want to see. Now, me and you, as we watched the Lomachenko versus Devin Haney, was even art.
Oh my goodness, yes.
That was great art performance. Yeah. Lomachenko and Rigondeaux was in my opinion. When they said that fight was gonna happen, I thought John Coltrane and Charlie Parker was about to get on the stage.
Yeah, Charlie Parker was coming together, right?
And do a full-fledged, all-out improvisational whole songs, all improvisation. Whole set of improv. See, that's the different mindsets and assets of analogy of boxing purists and musician purists. Every art, every sport has their purist fans who can dissect, and we're looking for a different. The average casual, say most football fans are casual fans. A lot of them are not. A lot of them are. I ain't gonna say most, a lot of them, because a lot of football fans is thoroughbred.
Gotta be the schedule came out and they watching that like what?
You know what this is. Boxing fans don't do that. I mean, casual boxing fans don't, but me and you and me, you see me, JR and C's, we gonna watch that to the sides. We want to know in advance. Okay, well, I know
the undercard.
Undercards. We on the undercard.
I want to see the undercard. I'm like, who the undercard?
So the purist mindset is totally different from the casual mindset. And it's a war going on. I'm gonna say this first and foremost. It's a war going on between casuals and purists right now today. Even some of these podcasters out here are casuals fans disguising themselves as purists.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I know we got to move on. I just want to finish it up with this, because it's a very emotional thing for me, because I've had friends die in that ring. I've had friends that were amateurs, and I started medical school, right? And when he started talking about the brain, people in the room, remember, we're freshmen,
right?
They were shocked at some of the things that I knew about the brain, because I learned about it from the old pros and old timers at Hillcrest. And certain things that aren't talked about, unfortunately, anymore, about telling these kids about what punchy is. Or even knowing that it's still a rule that you never tell a fighter that he's punchy, because you can start a fight. You can start a whole full-fledged brawl can start. Yeah. And you have people that are casuals speaking up on things that they know nothing at all about. And I had to explain to someone one time, I said, see, this sport, I wish I could just eradicate all casuals and just let it be us hardcores. And you had to reach a certain level or plateau in order to be qualified as a hardcore to watch boxing. But you can't do that. Why? Because we need the casual. Because if that happens, our fighters' pay is going to get cut. They're going to be making UFC money.
Yeah, or worse.
Or worse. So you need them. because in this sport, I always bring this example up. Remember the movie Great White Hype?
Yeah,
With Samuel L. Jackson, Damon Wayne, Peter Berg. It's a for people who don't know, it's a comedy, but it's telling a lot of truth.
One of the greatest documentaries out there. Believe it or not, it's comedy, but it tells
it's
a boxing documentary.
And as soon as the movie opens, it starts with the fighter Damon Wayans fighting, winning. He has a small cut and like a little bit of a bruise on his eye. Comes with the territory. He was fighting another top guy. That's what came with it. Boom. He walks in. It's an after party.
Yep.
And he's sore. And Samuel Jackson's like, my brother. He said, I love you. He said, I love you. He said, I love you. He said, wait, you done said I love you one too many times. What are you about to do? Exactly. And he said, what? He said, you about to screw me over? He said, man, you told me we was going to get 20 million this fight. And he said, man, I'm fighting for you, champ. I hurt. I bleed. And he goes, he had sunshades on. He says, no, I hurt. I bleed. And I want my damn money. Exactly. And he said, okay, I got one more big play. We get the kid that you lost to in the amateurs, the one kid you lost to fight you, and the kid never had a pro fight.
Yeah,
the kid never, and he was white, so you already know it's gonna sell because he's white. They said, what was the biggest fight? So people start saying, Hearns Leonard, Hagler Leonard, is it Ollie Boy? And they said, nope. And the dude was twirling this. He said, Holmes versus
Cooney.
And he said, why? He said, what? He said, yep, that bro. He said, because. He said, why? He said, because Cooney was a white boy. And Samuel Jackson says, and his jab couldn't break wind.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And it's funny, but the point of it is it's telling the truth, because if you go look at the first documentary of Ali Frazier, not the Thriller in Manila HBO documentary, there was one made like in 2001, Bright Light, something like that. If you look it up on YouTube, it's on there. And this publicist they were interviewing about the fight, he said the thing about boxing is it's a spectator sport, it's a spectacle. You could have two great fighters, but if you have one that's hated, and remember Ali was hated, people hated him at that time. He was not beloved at that moment. And Frazier was a hard-nosed black man from South Carolina. I mean, came from the crop fields. I mean, I tipped my hat. I was so glad I got the chance to meet him and his son before he passed. I just walked up to Mr. Frazier and I just did this.
Yes, indeed.
And he knew what it meant. He knew what it meant. I just thank you. Just a thank you. Because you let me walk the way I walk today. Not saying Ali didn't, but what did you say, Mr. Sheed?
He was the first celebrity boxer I've ever met myself personally. Him and Marvin Frazier. Marvin Frazier and when we met him at his gym, Joe Frazier's gym in Philly. We had went to it was the JO Golden, the JO Regionals, 1993, and that's where we fought at in Joe Frazier's gym. And I got old pictures with me in my house where he signed him and Joe Frazier and Marvin Frazier. But great personality. I just wanted to mention that I met him on the first celebrity boxer I met too.
I'll match your story with this. When I got the chance to show him, I said, hello, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for all you gave the game. Same thing I say to every legend I meet.
Yes, indeed.
And he said, you a fighter? Well, all them dimensions, you should be or whatever. So my god brothers were with me. And they say, show him the tape. Show him the tape of you sparring. I said, because I'm taught you don't brag about it. But so I'm like, so my god brothers had it already in their phone as well. So they go, look, Mr. Frazier's show it, right? And he said, son, you can fight. Just make sure you touch that body some more. I understand you tall and you still getting used to being tall. I could tell how you move and you still, because my coordination was still catching up. And he said, I said, touch the body more, like reach around. I'm not giving up. He said, nah, just reach it over, watch Tommy's tape. he said, and I said, yeah, my dad was saying the same thing or whatever. He said, Dad teaching you right, He said, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Don't worry about his head, man. Once them organs start shutting down, he ain't going nowhere.
That's true statement.
I was like, why? And he said, you kind of fast. I don't know if I could watch too much of this. You remind me of somebody I didn't care too much for at the time.
That's how he is, too, though. He's just like that, man.
So he said, you add that at the time he was hated. And if you sit there and you put two fighters and then somebody can pay, you can make a spectacle out of it, and then somebody is hated, and you got somebody that will pay the $69.99 on pay-per-view or pay that $50 or $75 ticket to watch somebody put their foot knee deep in your ass, they gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's why casual fans are needed. That's there. Yeah. Exactly there. Yeah. You sum it up with that. Yeah. And I always tell people, if you want to know the truth about boxing and want to watch a movie for it about being a fighter, you can watch some of the scenes in Rocky. Not the fight scenes. The fight scenes is bullshit. But the some of the stuff they tell is real. But if you want to watch about how the business is, sit there and watch Great White Hype, and also watch Only in America when Ving Rhames played Don King. Those two movies, it's gonna knock you upside the head. It's gonna take your innocence away.
You know what's crazy, JR? I remember watching it about 4 years ago again, right? I used to watch it all the time when I was young. Well, like 4 years ago, and I posted on the DMV Boxing Legend group page. I said, the Great White Hype is a boxing documentary. I'm trying to tell you right now, everything a fighter goes through is on this movie. I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest documentaries you can watch. It sounds like it's comedy. They make it fun.
Crazy, it's a comedy, right?
It's comedy, but it's so truthful all the way down to when the man was like, when he gained all the weight for the fight. I say when he was not focusing on his opponent, like he was just.
Yep. He was eating the ice cream with the girls holding him and stuff, and
even down to the man was getting short his money, man.
Yep.
It was.
No, man, I hurt. I bleed.
I bleed. Give me my damn money. Yeah. So let's move on.
That's why we need that.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Let's move on to the next topic. Usyk versus no other than Tyson Fury.
Gypsy King.
We're not going to be able to do our fight predictions on Friday because we might be at the weigh-in, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So we're going to do our predictions today.
Wait, no, don't put me on spot like that. Don't do that. Don't do
that. JR, who you got? Who you got?
My head hurts.
Who you got, brother?
I'm leaning towards Usyk. I'm gonna tell you why. Let's rewind back about 5-6 years now.
Okay.
This is the lead up to the second Wilder fight. If you remember, he fought a guy named Otto Wallin on ESPN. Otto Wallin ain't too much bigger than Usyk. Stiffer.
Right.
Can't move like Usyk. But gave him a lot of problems. And he roughed up Tyson Fury. Was open and using the inside of the glove, and he would throw his jab and purposely instead of having it land here, folks, what he would do is he would land it, and then land it. He would try, of course, the thumb is attached, but he's instead of it landing like this, he's rocking the referee to sleep. He's landing it, and then he's landing, and then the next time he lands, his hands kind of open, and he has the glove hit that eye to open it up more, kind of to how like Lennox Lewis cut Vitaly Klitschko, who in his remember when Vitaly, it's the same way. If you watch when Lewis cut Klitschko, his glove actually it was this part that did it. It was that inside part that did it. And he was roughing Tyson Fury up. And his movement was giving him slight problems. Now, why is that significant? Significant because Usyk took the Holyfield route. And what I mean by that is he didn't rush going up to heavyweight. He took, even when he was still fighting cruiserweight, he was, of course, when you start training, like I know from experience from myself, if you look at my body when I was an amateur and training as an amateur compared to now, you're going to start working with pros, you're going to do these type of workouts, and basically it's like you're working like an amateur again, but you're adding the load on and then adding extra exercises to it. And then as you really start advancing, you start adding 2 days worth of exercise to it. I got bigger, I got stronger, and of course it took time. And Usyk did the exact same thing. Holyfield did the exact same thing. Michael Moore did the exact same thing. James Toney sort of did the exact same thing. You're doing it without rushing. He let his body, because sometimes if you just put that weight and just try to make that jump too quick, you get sluggish. I.e. Winky Wright fighting Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins put him in the trick bag and he was sluggish the whole night when he fought Bernard. So he got in there with AJ. When Usyk got in there with AJ, that told me all I needed to know, and I'm going to tell you why. Because AJ is much stronger, naturally, than Tyson Fury, but way more fundamentally sound. A little bit robotic, especially back then, but fundamentally just here. Everything is Olympic with him. It's right here when he fights. And he was able to step around, roll under, pull off, do all the things that he needed to do to get around. And he got hurt to the body. Trying to couple it, low blow, bullshit. And then that cup didn't ride up. That your liver rolled up. Your liver rolled up to where your kidney was. That's what happened. You felt your liver ride up to your lung and hit your floating ribs. You're like, hold on, wait a minute, a low blow. I bet. Yeah, but that other time where it was a clean body shot, that man went and leaned over on the rope like this. He was tucking. I said, oh my God. But he sucked it up. Yeah. He sucked it up. And I know Fury doesn't hit as hard purely as AJ. But here's the thing. He's more girthier than AJ. He's wider. We get that. His feet are way more fast than AJ's. We get that. But the mental aspect, Tyson Fury been watching Usyk since he came into the pros. You know how I know? Go watch the Joe Rogan episode. He said, is there anybody out there that you're watching that, be like, oh, I got to watch this guy. He might come up later on and fight me. He said, there's a guy, he's an Olympic gold medalist named Oleksandr Usyk. He said, man, he's like the perfect foil for me. Like he's the way he boxes, the way he moves, he turns. That could give me, give me a fit. That could give me a fit. And you add on top of that, he shined in those fights for Wilder. He shined. But we ain't gonna act like Wilder didn't take a piece of him that he ain't gonna ever get back. I'm gonna tip for folks don't know, not the first fight. Not the first fight. That third fight, he took a piece of Tyson Fury. And I'm gonna tell you why. Anytime you see a guy get hit and fighters, not fans, fighters say, did you just see that? That's when you know something like, oh man, this is damaging. Because he hit Tyson Fury and Tyson's whole body rippled from his head, down his neck, down his whole body. And he took some shots because he knew with a guy like Wilder, I got to stay away from his right hand, but I got to take it to him. I can't let him get comfortable because he learned that after the first fight in that 12th round when he started throwing punches back. And even that first fight when he got hit with that big shot, those shots that the type of punch that Deontay Wilder has is the type of punch that is worth 20 punches. Mm-hmm. Like you see how guys get hurt and they go to the ropes and they get hit with 3 more clean shots and the referee stops it. His right hand is 2-3 fights worth of damage in one punch. And he took more than his fair share in those 3 fights. Mm-hmm. Even when he dominated him in the second fight, a couple of them right hands landed here, but he was pulling out. He was pulling back, like catching the tail end of it. And he said in the second fight, he said, man, he called me in the second round or either the first or second round. And he said, man, for a second, the room did this. And then it went back to normal. Yeah. Mm. So the accumulation still stands. So I can also think, well, you add all of that up and then you add what Tyson Fury said about a guy like Wilder. When you fight a guy like Wilder and you know how to fight, it's an anxiety thing because you're worried about the right hand, but you realize all you got to worry about is the right hand. It's like it's something to worry about, but I ain't worried about him triple hooking and then adding a brick hook and I just got to take his right hand from him.
Make sure stay away from that right hand or figure out where.
I got to take his right hand. Yeah. And I've been in there I've been in there in the ring with guys who only had the left hook. I've been in there in the ring with guys who only had right hands. When you take it from them, they're completely handicapped. It's like they hand broke. Mm-hmm. And you're not dealing with that with Usyk. You're dealing with a guy who can pivot, who might get on the inside. Usyk loves to do this. As soon as you throw a jab with right hand, he boom and he pivots out. He throws it as you're throwing yours to take your wind from you. And then he pivots and then he's back to here. Then he's southpaw. It's so for me personally, thank you to shout out to Gary Allen Russell. He was like, man, you a good pivot. And he started teaching me the little tricks on how to pivot further and how much easier it is to pivot on guys that are on the same foot as you. Like when you fighting somebody that's southpaw, their foot is touching yours. It's so much easier to pivot on the side of them. Because they throwing their jab. As soon as they jab though, you put their weight, just grab his hand and push it. It's gonna put his weight here. You right here on the side, he blind. Mm-hmm. And he can do that. So I just think, Tyson might go back. I think Tyson gonna make a mistake. I think he's gonna go in there the first few rounds to box him, like bring the pressure, but box him. And then he's gonna realize that I might be getting countered more than I need to be getting countered. Mm-hmm. And then he starts trying to just bum rush him like he did Wilder. Like, man, this guy's smaller, so I could just walk in. Mm-hmm. And he tries to really and he really starts getting touched. Yeah. I can see that happening.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a great chess match. See who you got for the victory.
I'm leaning Fury, but I'm spooked. I'm spooked. I'm leaning Fury, but I'm spooked because Fury didn't look good. No, he didn't look good his last fight in Ghana, right? I don't think he took it too serious.
He didn't take that serious.
That's what I'm saying. But honestly, I don't think he's taken a fight serious since Wilder. He had what? He had Dillian White after Wilder and Derek Chisora after Wilder. Wilder was 2021. That's what scares me. It's been 3 years since this man took a fight serious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm like, but I still want to lean. I'm like a stickler for size and skill. So Fury has he shocked me. I didn't really early in his career. I was like, this dude ain't really that good. But then it's like, no, he is actually pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's good fighting.
So the skill is there, and then with the size, so that's why I'm leaning Fury, but I am spooked. So I'm going Fury. All this being said, I'm going Fury,
Okay.
but I am spooked because he ain't been serious in a minute, man. And we know Usyk, but what got me is it's like a 7-8 inch reach advantage,
Yeah,
and then like a 50-pound advantage or something crazy like that. Like
yeah,
probably
man.
going into the fight. So it's like I don't. Usyk ain't been in there with nobody that big. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to show me that you can handle that.
That's
So
what the
go ahead.
I was just reiterating, going on what you were saying, Siege. That's what got me on the fence too, is the size of Tyson Fury with that
Yeah,
skill. Well, you go ahead, Siege. I just was adding that in there, brother.
Nah, I was pretty much done. I think it's gonna come down to, like JR said, Fury game plan, man. Not getting countered, controlling the distance, controlling the
Right.
range.
hmm
You know, it's gonna come down to that. And then when he get inside, grab him, put all that weight on him like you was doing wild.
Right,
you
right,
gonna
right,
have to,
right,
you
right.
gonna have to lean on him, baby boy.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the game plan, man. That's the way you do it. And for Usyk, it's gonna have to be getting inside, cutting that distance. Think what the Usyk got the speed advantage, his hand speed.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think I think he could get to the
skill
shot
too.
quicker. Yeah, I think he get to the shot quicker, but he gonna have to get in there and bing bing and get up out the way. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting. I know that it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be like you said, a straight chess matches. There's gonna be a lot of thinking involved in this one, man. It's good. This is a good fight. Goody.
Well, my prediction is I'm going with I'm gonna go with Usyk on skill. I think for Tyson Fury, um, like you said, Siege, you had an interesting point you brought up. His lack of focus.
Mm.
You didn't say lack of focus. You said
Nah, he
he's
ain't took
just
nothing
not taking
serious.
it
Same thing.
serious. Not taking it serious.
Same thing.
I'm saying like, yeah, he's not taking it serious in his lack of focus for boxing. I think he's really. This was the thing that was holding was the Usyk fight, is just keeping him stuck in boxing. I think is this fight here and Anthony Joshua, between those two, and then he can move
Yeah.
on.
Well, I mean, he retired after the Wilder fight, right?
Right,
Supposedly,
right,
he's like,
right,
I'm
right.
retiring from boxing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Usyk's I think got enough skill to handle him. Um, and he's relentless. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna fight him. He's not no. He got great defense. But I can't take nothing away from Tyson when he's focused. Tyson Fury when he's focused. I think he's the most skillful big guy I've ever saw in my life in that size capacity to be able to um, have the abilities to move like such, box with feints. He's definitely, his boxing IQ is immaculate and in my opinion. He has one of those purest boxing IQs. Um, but I just don't think now let me say this. A focused a focused Tyson Fury will destroy Usyk. A focused Tyson Fury. I just have not been seeing that in the past few years. A focused Tyson Fury in a few fights. I don't know if it's due to the lack of competitive competitive
Competition, yeah.
competition of I mean competitive a level that he's fighting, or competition being at a lower level, or he's just tired of boxing. I don't know which one it is, but I'm with Usyk on this one if Tyson Fury lacks focus. And I see a lot of that going on. But I haven't lately seen him all over the internet being wild. Mostly what I have been seeing is his camp being pretty
Yeah.
wild, like his father. head bunted the shit out of these peoples, man.
No bull.
I
I
got
said,
you.
damn, you disrespectful. You know how they all talk. They don't. I mean, I've been to London. I've been to England, right? I've been over there. I hit. They got a different style sound. They must. What part of England is they from?
I
I'm
don't know.
I think it's
Oh, he from Lancashire. Lancaster.
Lancastershire.
That's why they
Yeah.
sound
So Manchester, it's like North
Yeah.
London. Yeah.
Their English sound more
Yeah, they
close
the
to Ireland.
It's
Yeah.
Stu. Yeah.
They more closer to Ireland sound like. That's
Yeah.
nice, Miss Guys. Whatever
Yeah.
you got, you want to do. I'll break your fucking face. I'll break your fucking face. Fuck you guys. I don't know why. That shit is different, man.
Uncle G, you sounded just like yo, that's creepy.
Man, they shit sounds funny, man. So we now
I
this
went
one gonna
I
bite
went
us in
to
the ass because JR the one who was going with me and you pick Usyk and
yeah,
you might
I went with
be
Fury.
you to be the one that upset us this time because we
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm due to have one right. Good God, I'm in a little slump right now.
Now it boils down to this, ladies and gentlemen. The top 5 greatest jabs of all time. These are, let's say this as I say in every segment of us in our GOAT talk, our Who's the Best talk. These
Hey,
are
Mr. Caesar.
our personal opinion. It's like the holy grail of boxing. These are our personal picks. So please don't take it personal. Please don't take it personal. These are the people that we believe are the best in our opinion. I'm gonna start off with you, brother JR. Give me your number 5 greatest jabs of all time.
What's up, Mr. Caesar?
What's up, What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm sorry, because that's still from last week when he said, "Oh yeah, I got my list. Yo, who on the show this week? Yeah, JR gonna be on the show." Damn.
Hey. So I said, I'm about to get cussed out again. Oh Lord, my list.
Oh man. Number 5. My number 5 guy. I'll put Winky Wright.
Oh, damn.
That was my 5 too.
Damn.
Because when Winky was starting to come up, when he turned pro, he wasn't getting a lot of fights in the US. So he had a lot of frequent flyer miles. That Bama had to go over to England. And I'll never forget, my father would be watching him fight, but I didn't know who the guy was. And me watching him in England, I thought he was English. And then Dad was like, "Man, this boy jab, man, this jab." You know how Dad is about that jab. My Lord. For anybody who knows Coach Hard Work, Coach Don, my father will be in the corner, Uncle She, or we'll be in the gym. Man, he'll make you feel like you some trash. He'll sit there and say, "Man, all that slipping is fine, all that stuff is good, man. But man, do you have a jab?
Right.
Do you have a jab, man?"
Yeah.
And but Winky, when he fought, and this is before the shell. This is Winky when his C pattern was off the hook. His jab was relentless. He in England, especially back then, the top fights would have a lot of black tie. People would take white tables around the ring and whatever. Like the upper ones had the people that was the bands and the cheering and the chants. The lower ones would have people coming in suits and black. And what they would do when Winky Wright would fight, they would ching the glasses for his eloquence. For how he would box. They loved how he boxed, and they would ching the glasses. That's how astute his jab and his precision was. And then the second phase of his career, where he lost his legs a little bit. His legs wasn't going to move as consistent anymore, and that's when the shell came. And that jab coming out that shell, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. That's the thing that killed me. You couldn't do nothing with it. You know. He coming to you like this.
Jab, 1, 2. Jab.
Yeah. and maybe every once in a while he'll give you a double foot thing. Every once in a while he'll give you a foot thing, double foot thing, then jab. But it was never no hand feint. It was when it was coming from the shoulder, it was coming from the shoulder. It was no setup, no, and it's still he was, and then the precision of his jab that got me was. I never forget Sugar Wayne's father told me this, and also the great James Baker said, "Man, you got a good jab, Junior. I like that you shoot your jab at any end, because for young fighters watching, younger fighters, don't always feel like your jab got to be aimed right here.
Right.
Your jab is the only punch your jab is the only punch that can be thrown at any angle.
Yeah,
any angle." Perfect example of that, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, he threw a jab here, whatever. And you could sit there and faint. Then, of course, so many other guys we're going to get to on this list that you could throw your jab at any angle. But as you're throwing it, he told me, he said, "Man, you got a good jab. Why you keep aiming right here for? You either aiming it here or you aiming it here. Why?" I said, faint and I get the point and then go stab to the body, take some wind out of it. He said, "Yeah, but aim for his collarbone. You can aim for his solar plex." He said, "You see him wiggle his hand?" And then I was working with Alan, I think Alan Russell. And Alan had a shoulder. His shoulder was it was healed, but not 100% healed. And his left hand was hurt. They're going to tell me, I hit him in the arm. He went, I said, "Oh, my bad, Al, because he got a tournament coming up." He said, "Nah, hit him in the shoulder and hit him in the hand, because nobody else gonna get it." He said, and I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, when you see his hand, we'll hit him in the hand." I was like, "What?" Because this is my teammate. I'm trying to help him get to the money. Hit him in the hand. Yeah. And when it came to he said, "Man, aim right here every once in a while. Don't just aim at the tip of the chin, aim right at the forehead, because when that head start going up, and that whiplash start, and then it start working as your back starts to tighten up. Starts going all the way down your back." And what Ali bedeviled Floyd Patterson with, and Floyd Patterson's back started to tighten up more, and then he started leaning, and then his head started being right there for the 1, 2, 3. But when you're dealing with somebody that's right here and they hear you going up, the eyes got to register to the brain what's coming. If the eyes can't register to the brain, damage is coming. What do they always say in boxing? It's the shot you don't see coming that puts you out.
Ones you don't see,
So if you get hit, the eyes going up, and by the time you get your chin back here, and it's a brick coming before you even get it here, you either hurt or you out. So, and he killed Trinidad with that. I mean, Trinidad was doing this all night. Pop, 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 pop. I mean, back, boom, pop, boom, pop. I'm like, God, oh.
He smoked them. Yeah, that was Winky was my number 5 too, man, for the same reasons. Like, and for me, it's like like you said, you knew the jab was coming. You knew it was coming. You knew what he's going to do. You couldn't stop it. Precision, accurate, speed. That jab controlled narratives. Like that jab made that man the boogeyman. Like nobody wanted to fight that dude, bro.
Yeah.
He had the whole division. Like, no, I'm not fighting that man. Like, nah, and that's what the difference between, like we were saying earlier, purists and casuals. It wasn't the most exciting, but for
Right.
somebody who knows what they're looking for and love to see that, good gracious, it was beautiful boxing. Like I always say, Winky and Shane Mosley, my two favorite fighters all time. And most people say Winky was a born fighter. No, Winky was a vicious fighter, hell of a fighter. And it was the jab and the 1-2, bing, bing, and it was just the high guard, bing, bing. You know it was coming. You knew it was coming. Like, still nothing you could do about it. And he won. So yeah, Swanky was my fifth. What's up with your shit?
Just like how you just, I didn't pick Winky as in the top 5, but I get he definitely, that jab was used on a regular. It wasn't a sharp, fast jab. It was a precision. It was more of a, when he shot it, he kept it, but he kept it in a good pace. But when he hit you, it's just how he threw it.
It was an educated jab.
Educated jab. Yeah.
And it threw your whole setup off.
And yeah, exactly. And like you said, if boxing was jazz or boxing was music, Rinky Bright would be a Miles Davis. Smooth, mellow. Be a Miles Davis. My number 5 is Lennox Lewis. The way he used to throw it, I watched how he used it. And he used it for their height purposes because he was very tall of a fighter. He was one of the first big ass fighters, the big ass heavyweights to come over. That's almost 7 foot tall and weighing about 280, 290, 300 pounds. He was one of them, but he used that jab on a regular basis. I mean, he didn't fight it that way, but that's what he was walking around, probably 300 pounds. But Lennox Lewis was a super heavyweight in the Olympics, wasn't he? Big ass heavyweight, like I said.
Man, them big dudes can hide that. I'm so glad I'm little. I swear. Anything 54 and up.
Yes, nope, me. But yeah, I picked Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis used that jab, even though his most dominant punch to me was the right hand. But he kept that jab, and kept the fighters at bay. So I picked Lennox Lewis for my 5th pick. All right, JR, what's your number 4?
I'm gonna mess y'all heads up with this one. Hey, Mr. Caesar.
Hey, I'm about to say, no, we can't keep going back. We can't have the same one this time. Come on.
Tyrell Biggs.
You know what's so crazy? Before I walked down the steps, my number 4 was blank for a while. I remember Tyrell Biggs jab being like a missile. Zip. But I ain't pick him on it, but I thought about him though. I should have. Tyrell Big, goddamn.
He just looked at me like, this boy, man. What the heck, man? So, I heard stories when I was a little kid about Tyrell Biggs. Dad would tell me, what if your hand breaks? What if this happens? What if that happens? And he showed me Tyrell Biggs. and everything came into perspective for me. Because I kept hearing this story of this fighter who fought with one hand for 12, I think it was 10 rounds or 12 rounds, something like that. Because it wasn't a 15 rounder. I think it was for the NABF belt. I forget. But Tyrell Biggs' jab was, he just, so the story goes, because my father told me the story before I could really know who the guy was. YouTube wasn't even fully what it is now for me to look up this guy and find the fight that Dad was talking about. He said, man, he hurt something. I don't know what he hurt. Dad was telling me, so he said, man, it's been so long. I don't know what he hurt something that fight. I think he dislocated his shoulder or something. And that man kept fighting and he was turning everything off that left hand. And I finally found the tape. He had silver trunks on. He had his name cut in half, tie on his trunks. And this was his step-up fight. This was his fight where he was fighting a dangerous gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper was known for beating prospects, not just beating them, but knocking them out. And the guy's money shot was an overhand, so he threw the overhand, and Tyrell Biggs was looking for it. And when he pulled back, he went over this way, and the overhand landed on his collarbone and broke his collarbone. You know how strong you got to be to throw a overhand and break a dude's collarbone? And you know, when you break a guy's collarbone, you could cut his wind off. And Tyrell Biggs chose to keep fighting. And see, a dislocated shoulder is bad enough. But because you could black out for like a split second, like you're blind and then you back up and like, man, my shoulder, whatever. But when you're dealing with a collarbone, you could cut someone's wind off. Like, because it breaks and you could really, it's pressing right at the top of where the lungs begin. So you could really say, and it turns out later on, if you read the articles, he had trouble breathing. So you're not only dealing with that pain, but you can't use your hand and you can't breathe. You're not breathing. You're in top shape, but you're not breathing like you normally breathe. And he just, just turn it. Turning it every which way. Like, he was damn. At one point, he started bitch slapping him. Like, he's pimp slapping him stuff with the jab. Hit him with a pimp jab. Then he would sit there. Then he would turn over. Boom. Go back to a shotgun jab again. Boom. Then go back to a fast pimp jab. Then start turning it from here. I'm like, Jesus. I'm watching the tape. I just went downstairs. I said, Dad, it was real. He said, yeah, that boy was bad. He said, that boy was bad. And I was like, man. And the guy that he was fighting was still coming. Like, was still throwing heavy shots and still, he knew he hurt Tyrell Biggs. He kept hitting him, going right, like a bad cut, going right back to it. He stopped aiming at Tyrell Biggs' head. He started aiming here. So Tyrell had to keep doing it because Tyrell kept his hand like this the whole fight because he couldn't do this. He could barely move, so he kept it here. But this is exposed. So he would try to cut and this is getting hit. And the whole time he just then start pimp slapping him, then shotgun it. Oh my! So yeah, Tyrell. I just went down and said, "Yeah, hard work. You was right." He said, "Yeah, that boy was bad. When that jab was vicious."
Yeah, Tyrone was right, man. You got. He damn sure was in the back of my mind. I said, "Damn, Tyrone should make this list." Tyrell, I'm sorry, Tyrell. He should make this list, man.
All right.
Number
4 for me, gonna be Ike Corte.
Okay.
I got Ike.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it's the same. It's realistically, it's for the same reason JR picked Biggs. Ike Corte for Ike Corte for Jose Luis Lopez. Same thing. Had malaria going into the fight. corner told him like, "Hey, reserve some energy. Don't throw the power stuff." Man, landed like 300, 313 jabs that fight. Just beat him with the jab, one handed only. You know what I'm saying? And through his whole career, just that power shot, like boom. Like, I think they call it like a bazooka jab. They call the thing a
The
bazooka jab.
bazooka jab. Yup.
Bazooka jab. And like just controlling fights with it. It was like I remember playing Fight Night, and I like Corte on Fight Night, right? But he had the weirdest form with the jab. It was almost like an overhand, like a little. It was a weird little thing, and I was like, man, but it was effective, and he was only like what 5'7". He wasn't a tall dude, so you know what I'm saying. He was a short dude with a highly effective jab, Joe. So yeah, number 4, Ike Corte.
Okay, yeah. Well, he on the list. He definitely on the list, man. My number 4 is Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard, the way his jab was more powerful. It was fast, but it was a power jab.
Mm-hmm.
How he would snap heads back, man. I just got Ray jab was just more powerful. It wasn't as rapid as a lot of these guys we name it, but it was a powerful jab. So I'm going with Ray, man. I think Ray had a nice, wonderful jab as well, where he can get you up out of there with the jab. So Ray Leonard is my number 4. All right, number 3, JR.
Joe Louis.
Joe Louis. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
He had a perfect stance. He was known one of the rare guys that had a perfect stance. Every time he threw it was he made guys who at the time didn't move much. Let me move the hell out the way. Like, let me move. His jab was just, it was, you don't really hear about a 6-inch jab like that. You don't really hear it like that. Like, you hear it, but it be when you watch the replay back and the guy's head slip past to about right here and he throws a kind of like that. And the way that Joe Louis would throw it, guys would, because they knew Joe Louis was a vicious counterpuncher and a precise, powerful counterpuncher with his combination. They would slide past, and he would just. It wasn't even a hook. It looked like a crooked V, almost like a check mark. It was like but he's not throwing a hook. It was literally right here, and then you see guys all of a sudden starting to lump up. What he did to when he two-ton Tony Galento, what he did to Billy Conn, what he did to Jersey Joe in the second fight, that jab was just, oh my goodness. Whether it was short or whether it was long, it was coming. You was gonna know about it. So for me, the great Brown Bomber, any way he was coming in his stance, no matter where you turn. Sometimes you could step to the side of a guy, just doing your normal bounce and walk, and take some power off of a guy's jab because he has to adjust. And you would think, looking at Joe Louis being flat, that once you hit him with the Jersey Joe walk out and feint and walk this way or go back this way, it's gonna take some, because he got to reset. Nah, he was still. And still was making guys go, he broke a guy's hand. Of course, the gloves were 6 ounces back then. So, I mean, but I don't know how much this accounts for. But, I mean, he was hurting guys' hands trying to pick his jab. Mm-hmm. So, that's my guy.
I remember that short jab, seeing videos of that short jab periodically out there, man. He definitely worthy of the list because he used his jab to set up other shots too a lot with that jab. Mm-hmm. Joe Louis was bad. His punches was nice and short. And it's in the way, Tom used to emulate his style for us as fighters. and Tom would throw punches just like how Joe Louis used to throw punches back in the days, man. So
Rest easy, Granddad Tom.
yes, indeed. Your number 3, brother
Three.
Steve.
Number 3, I'm gonna go back to yours with Lennox, man. And for
Okay.
me, with Lennox, and why he my number 3 is just the way he controlled the ring with it.
Yeah.
He'll control your pressure, control the distance. He could use it multiple ways. He'll use it on offense. He'll use it on defense. He'll use it like just that jab for Lennox really controlled the narrative of his whole career. Without that jab, Lennox was he wasn't he wouldn't have been Lennox, you know.
Yeah, he would have been half of the fighter he was.
Yeah, that jab made Lennox, you know, and to really learn it and perfect it with the great Emmanuel Stewart, man, you know, no, Emmanuel Stewart he might have could have had the whole top 5 list of all Stewart fighters for real, for real. That man could teach a jab like no other, man. But
True statement.
just for fairness, I did try to limit it. But yeah, nah, it's Lennox, man. It was a pugilist specialism, you know.
Huh.
Lennox was like that with that
Right.
jab. But
Okay, my number 3 is Ike Corte. Man, when I saw him fight Oscar, I saw him fight a lot of other guys. But to see that goddamn jab come out though.
Oh man. And they both were battling. Who hook was gonna land first? Who jab was gonna land first?
Yes, indeed. His jab was one of the most fundamentally sound jabs with accuracy as well as velocity I've ever saw in boxing. The way he threw it. Now it's a guy above him that's more velocity. Let me rephrase that. It's a guy above him on this list. Jab has more philosophy and accuracy. Velocity and accuracy. But he's a smaller guy. His jab is shotgun, as we used to call it back in the days, the shotgun jab.
Yep.
I give it Ike Corte as being definitely top 5 greatest jabs of all time. Put him at number 3. All right, now we going around to the number 2 greatest jabs of all time. Another disclaimer. We're going to put this disclaimer in there again. These are our opinions. They're not the holy grail of boxing. These are our opinions. This is what we witness and believe has the greatest has the greatest jabs of all times in our opinion. Okay, brother JR, your number 2 greatest jab of all time.
My number 2, I was kind of back and forth but it's kind of one and the same because they both threw similar jabs. But it was Larry Holmes and Tommy Hearns.
Okay.
Basically. Because the way they threw their jabs at any angle, the way that they took rounds off. What, Mr. Caesar? What? What I do? What I did?
That's my number 2 too, though.
That's so what?
Larry Holmes.
All right, then I'll take Tommy. The way that Tommy took rounds off to work his jab. Really think about that. He would sit there and take rounds off, picking you apart with his jab till he felt like he wanted to pick it back up again. He'll start sitting there and he'll be here. And he'll throw it. Then he'll start sitting here. Throw it again. Then he'll sit there and pull here. Throw 2. He'll flick it up. Then he'll sit there and then this man will start getting relaxed. And he starts rocking. He might bounce on his toes for a second, then sit back on his feet. And he rocking. What the heck is this man doing this? What are you rocking? Next thing you know, you're like, all right. Oh, he's trying to rock in his sleep for that brick. And next thing you know, from the most awkwardest angle, He rocks, goes here. His body's leaning back this way. His hand is over here. Pow! I'm like, and I mean, with full tilt, power, accuracy, speed, just pow! Almost like your mama hitting you when you think like say something slick under your breath, and you think she ain't hear it, and it's like a awkward angle, and she still wound up knocking you from back here. That was like he already had a 70-something 8-inch reach. He can hit you from across the ring. As soon as he take 2 steps into the center of the ring, he can hit you from there. And he was doing it at any angle. And then the weirdest thing was he could do, even with his long arms, he could do that Joe Louis jab. Because if you go back and look at the tape where he did it multiple times, multiple fights, but perfect example is when he fought Hagler. Hagler came in, it's in the first round, first 10 seconds. People thought it was a hook off the jab. He didn't know no hook off the jab. He did this shoreline line. And I believe that was one of the first things that opened up the cut. Then he landed that brick and really opened it up. He was just extra natural. That jab was. I mean, even when Ray said, he said it was every time I thought I had the timing on it, I didn't. He said it was so accurate. It was so fat, and my eye began to swell. Before I knew it, my eye was swollen. That's that. You making Ray Leonard, a prime Ray Leonard, slip and sliding Ray Leonard, say, I couldn't, man. His jab was just so accurate, so fast. Like, before I knew it, my eye began to swell. I couldn't get away. But that says a lot.
That make day. Hell of a choice, hell of a pick, man. I love all of y'all pricks and answers, man. Okay, Steve, your number 2.
Hey, Larry Holmes, man. Larry Holmes, my number 2. It was the combination of strength and speed with Larry that made it made him my number 2. It was fast. He had the range. He had range and reach or whatever. And I mean, he could use it any kind of way you want. Like he could really do whatever off the jab. He could turn the jab into a hook mid punch. He'd drop people with a jab. Like Larry jab was like, you want to talk piston, bro? I mean, it just shot out a cannon, man, and right into your face. Crack. So yeah, number 2, Larry, man.
Yeah, my number 2 is Muhammad Ali, man. Just the way he controlled the fight with his jab was phenomenal. The movement, and Ali wasn't as fundamentally sound in the eyes of a lot of the fighters that say, it's a lot of stuff that we were taught you would never do you would never teach.
Preach.
Yeah, you would never teach that style of fighting. But Ali's jab was, I've watched Ali tear somebody's ass up with them jabs, man, a few fights. So I know his jab was always kept control of the fight, and he used it a lot. That's what gave me number 2, because Ali would jab your ass for 5 rounds, 7 rounds straight if he had to. Easily a jab you from 7 rounds straight, maybe more. Maybe let me take that back. He'll jab your ass for 10 rounds because it's 15 back then. So, and he'll jab your damn head off probably for 12. Let me go back 12 rounds out of 15. So I picked Ali because Ali had an educated jab. His jab determined whether how his movement was going to be, how he had to get out of the way of shots and things of that nature. So Ali used his jab was more educated. So that's my number 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're giving our top number 1 greatest boxing jab of all times. We started off again with Brother JR. What's your greatest? Who is your greatest number 1 fighter that has the best boxing jab in boxing history, in your opinion?
A man named Charles Sonny Liston. What the heck? All right. I'm sorry, Mr.
I was sitting there praying you wouldn't pick Sonny Liston, bro. Said Charles, I said like, yeah.
I know your face when I say Charles. Said, okay, I ain't picked nothing that he got. Then when I said Sonny, his whole face went, "Ain't this some bull?" Sonny Liston jab could go through walls.
It's undeniable, yeah.
That jab. You talking about a guy who his hands were so big they had to Everlast had to send him special made training gloves because his hands were so big. And then you add on top of that, there was no cheat in that jab.
Mm-hmm.
There was no cheat in it. There was nothing on that jab to where just putting it out there. Oh, I'm just gonna flick it. No. That jab broke a lot of men. You're talking about a guy in Cleveland Williams. See, y'all look at Cleveland Williams. Oh, that's the guy that Ali looked his best against. It was shuffling, doing all this stuff, making him look bad. Man, go look at different interviews where Ali was like, man, I was scared to death of getting in there with Cleveland Williams. Cleveland Williams was a world beater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hit you, he could kill you. Like, this is really, you putting both of these guys in there, and the thing that separated was because he hurt Sonny Liston, but the thing that separated was Sonny's jab, and Sonny's jab was just. You know what? I'm just gonna go straight to a story that I know I could go to that will really sum it up. His last fight. Forget his whole career.
Mhm.
Let's just go to this last fight. He fights the Bayonne Bleeder, Rocky Sylvester Stallone's muse, if you will, for everything that he later went on to gain. Chuck Wepner.
Yeah.
And people were betting on Chuck Wepner for that fight. And, you know, Sonny's old. He had just lost to Leotis Martin. And he was like, all right, his way out of there. And he goes in there. And just his jab alone broke his cheekbone, fractured his eye socket, broke his nose, cut him everywhere. Cut him under both eyes, over top of both eyes. I got to go back and look at the interview, so I'm off the top of my head. You say, I think he had 172 stitches or something like that after that fight, or some close, but it was over 100 stitches. That's just his jab. He said, Chuck Wepner said, his famous line about Sonny, he said, 60 some amateur fights, 40 something pro fights, and I never got hit that hard, and let alone by just a jab. That's how devastating this man's jab was. Like, he was hitting. Remember back then the heavy bags aren't like today, where it got gel in it with water and this and the third in it. These bags back then, even up to Uncle Shee's era, it was basically sand. Put sand in it, with a little bit of stuff. The bag was made out of canvas. You touch that bag, you start hitting that bag, just messing around, and you got some skin calluses on your knuckles because it's made out of straight canvas. Exactly. So, and he's hitting it. Look at this. He's hitting this bag with this jab, and it's go poof, poof. Like, you listen to the sound and the quality is not as good back then, but you knew watching these tapes, hearing it, boom, 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 boom. It's like, God, dog. So, and my last guy, just for honorary mention of best jabs, Don Hollingsworth.
Okay. Yeah.
because the
You got
stories that I heard
that jab shot.
of not just what I witnessed, but hearing how my dad was throwing 6, 7 jabs at one time, all of them fast, all of them hard. He's in there with world class guys. He fought a guy that later went on to fight to challenge for a title 2 times. He fought a guy, and that guy went up to him after the fight and said, "Man, you can fight, man. That jab was something vicious." And to hear how he breaks down, to hear how hard work Hanzo will break down a jab, break down how you could win a fight off of a jab, how you could control a fight off of a jab, and seeing him do it when he was tired in certain sparring sessions and get through milk the round and then pick it back up. How he was able to sit there and blind it for as a throwaway. I'm gonna give it this fast, and then I'm gonna give it a throwaway to make you look at it, and then drop my other hand or turn it. So that will be my honorary mention. Don Hardwork Hunter.
Worthy choice, man. I bear witness to that jab plenty times. Shotgun jab for real. Siege, your number one greatest jabber of all time.
It was Sonny, man, and it was like he said, it was the power. It was the power, bro. Like, dude to knock you out with a jab, bro.
Yep.
Like, he'll sleep you with a jab, bro. Like, dude was crazy. Like, and then he had like stupid long arms. Like, his arms was crazy long. He reach and stretch with the jab and knock you smack out. Like, yeah, it was.
Knocking guys' teeth out. Knocking guys' teeth out through the mouthpiece.
I mean, the jab was stupid. I mean, dude was crazy.
My bad. Steve.
Nah, it's all good, man. Hey, man, you know, when you right, you right. You know what I'm saying? You was right today. You know. Yeah, but it was like he said, he threw every jab like crazy, like he was trying to knock you out with a jab, bro.
Yeah,
he was dead seriously trying to knock you out with a jab. Like they said, his jabs was like Bama's full blown power punches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
He was one that slipped my mind too. He's supposed to make the list, but I didn't pick him. I should have because I remember that jab. But I didn't pick him, man.
I was watching. I'm like, that giant and then his arms, like he looked like Gosling or something out that joint.
Mm-hmm. He's literally touching. Did you see the picture when he's in the corner? It's a picture when he's standing in the corner and looking across the ring like this is the guy. His hands are relaxed. His arms are relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And his, like, matter of fact, hold on 1 second. I'm going to like, I'm standing up, right? I'm standing straight up. My hand, my fingertips, so fist balled up, like kind of balled up. Mine's is touching my mid thigh.
Mm-hmm.
He was all about right here. If you're talking to a kid here, who had the privilege and honor of meeting Mark Breland. And Mark Breland said, "Man, how long is your arms is, kid?" And I said, you know, and it's a picture of me that the photographer took of me and Mark Breland with our jazz extended, and my arm was longer than Mark Breland's by like 2 inches, maybe 2 or 3 inches. So just think how much longer
his arms was. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it's and it's just like
rapping.
Boom. Like a car. Boom.
Yeah.
Like God.
Nah, I'm good. That's enough to make you rethink life, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, I should have studied more, man. Like, man, this some bull. Like, man, y'all ain't my friends. Y'all the one who told me to sign the contract. Y'all. Like,
every way you like, hey, can I lose some weight?
God, no.
What you got,
great sources, man. I went with Larry Holmes, man. I like the rapid machine gun, rapid zip fast shotgun jab that Larry Holmes had. But
from his waist.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I did let. I forgot about Sonny Liston's jab, man. I remember as a child, my father used to show us videos of that vicious jab that Sonny Liston. He also showed us Larry Holmes, but Sonny Liston. This was before we had YouTube, so we couldn't just go look up no fighter. We had to go get the tapes. So go order the shit.
Go get the Betamax, huh?
Exactly. Somebody knew somebody. So I picked Larry Holmes as my number one. Excuse me, greatest jabs of all time. Man, it's been a rough day today, man. My birthday tomorrow, so man.
Hey,
yes, happy birthday, Usyk.
I appreciate it, man. Well, man, it was an honor and a pleasure, man.
I wanted to throw one little bone out there for Sonny, man.
Go ahead.
That man taught George Foreman how to jab too, man.
Yeah.
And George should have been on the list.
That's why I mentioned George. He's basically a predecessor to Sonny. Everything that you saw, everything you saw that was George, like at least 80, maybe low ball, 70% of everything you saw that was George, he got from Sonny.
That's funny, yeah. So yeah.
He said, nobody backed me up. I done sparred, got nobody back. He the only guy that intimidated me, that made me back up.
Yeah.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
Sonny Liston was a threat. He was dangerous, man, in that ring. Dangerous.
Yeah.
So
he was the real deal. He wasn't no, as we would say today, no social media gangster. He got kicked out of every town. Short clip for y'all watching. He got kicked out of every town he was in. The cops ran him out of every town he ever was in to the day he died. That's how vicious. Like, you want to talk about that saying, I'm a one-man army? No, him, Cleveland Williams, them dudes were one-man armies. Like, they beat up cops, put them in the upside down inside trash cans. I mean, all type of junk. Like, these dudes were vicious. They were really, I never forget Mike Tyson said, he said, man, Sonny Liston ain't nobody more intimidating than Sonny Liston. Not even me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
straight up. So.
Yeah.
Man, it was an honor. Pleasure, man. Listen, we're gonna do this again next week.
I'm with it.
Next week will be the greatest left hook of all time.
All right.
Nah, man, that's Left Hook Lacey, bro. Come on. Name, say it all.
So next Sunday, next Wednesday, greatest left hooks of all times. Same time, 9 p.m.
Left hook or just any hook?
Left hook or right, left hook, right hook.
Yeah, or southpaw, yeah.
Left hook, right hook. Whichever one is your number 3. Put it like this: the number 3 greatest hook of all times. Next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Brothers, this was a great show as always. My eyes is like
about to die. About to go. And Wednesday we gonna be celebrating my prediction of Fury correctly as well. So
get you out the slump.
Brother,
that's it.
An honor and a pleasure to have y'all on here, man. We're gonna do this thing again next Wednesday. Those that's on here, hit the subscribe button, the like button. Let's get these numbers up to where they're supposed to be. Let's get these numbers up. Also, come on out at the entertainment and sports arena this Saturday.
Yeah.
Y'all come see Frankie. Come see
Trey.
Trey,
man.
All the future world champions, future superstars will be in the building this Saturday. Come on out there and join us all, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be in the building. I will be in the building. C's be in the building. JR will be in the building. You see us, come holler at us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Second Win Sports Media. Peace.
Peace.
This episode has been brought to you by
Raw Vegan Plant-Based Protein Powder, the undisputed champion of plant-based protein powder. I got mine. It's time for you to get yours. Visit rawvegan.com.